Yo, what's good guys, I'm Fire here back with another video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys another offensive scheme in Madden 22. Today we have a run scheme for you. It's going to be mainly run. It's going to be out of this I-form close flex in the New Orleans Saints offensive playbook. We're going to show you guys what my favorite runs to do, favorite motions, favorite play setups, and this is just, a mini scheme. I know a lot of you guys run the Saints playbook. It's something that I wanted to start doing, one of the reasons I like doing those playbook videos is it gives me an idea of what playbooks you like to run. People will comment what playbook they think should be on the list, and I got a lot of comments that the Saints playbook is underrated and that it should have been in the top 5 list. So we're going to check it out, and we're going to start out with this I-form close flex. This is a formation that I've always liked. You have a dive, you have a stretch, and you have a couple of really good pass plays we're going to use. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Now, before we get into the video, make sure you guys drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and let me know in the comments what playbook you run and what formations you want to see in the future for these mini schemes. Now, once again, we are in the I-form close flex New Orleans Saints offensive playbook, which is why we are rocking with the Saints. Now, a couple of personnel things. What I did is I threw Mark Ingram at this fullback position. That's just for some of the passing setup so we could get a little bit of a faster, guy here to make plays out of the backfield. In Ultimate Team, you might want a fullback here, someone that can actually pick up decent blocks. Ingram, of course, is not going to be that guy. But there's a lot of faster fullbacks in Ultimate Team that can both receive and block well. So you will definitely have some options at that position. But in the regs, in the Saints, we want a fast guy, so we just threw Ingram here. Not too concerned about the blocking. Now, there's some cool things you can do with the motion here. The first thing that we can do is we can motion Deontay Harris either out wide, or we can actually motion him across to create an I-form close look. So we motion him across. You can motion snap him at any time, but he's going to line up here similar to an I-form close. He's actually a little bit tighter than he normally would be in an I-form close. In an I-form close, he would be the same distance between the left tackle and Michael Thomas as, the tight end and Deontay Harris would. So he's a little bit tighter. But those are pretty much the motion from Deontay Harris. As you see right there, we get some immediately good blocks, good results out of this formation. Now with Michael Thomas, what you can go ahead and do is motion him to the left. You can't motion snap him, though, when you do that. But that is something interesting that a lot of people might not know. You can also, once again, motion him across the formation. He will go all the way out wide. You can motion snap him at, any time that you want. And those are pretty much the motions. You can also motion Ingram over to the right, pretty much out wide. And I believe you can motion Troutman out wide as well. Now, I forgot to talk about the audibles, but here are the audibles. We got stretch, ISO, PA spot, and PA tight end corner. Now, I'm not exactly sure the other playbooks that this formation is in. I believe it's in Raiders. But, this is what we are rocking with. Now, again, we start out with the dive. With the dive, you don't really have to do motion. I just kind of like doing motion just to give your opponent more to think about. Sometimes with these runs, if you just come out on the field, snap the ball immediately, you might not get the best results that you're looking for. So sometimes you just give your opponent more to think about. He might, for example, if I were to motion a guy like Mark Ingram out, what my opponent might do is he might go ahead and man up someone on Mark Ingram, either a linebacker, defensive lineman, who knows, just because he's worried about him. And especially if he sees me motion this fullback out, he's probably expecting pass because I'm really only making my blocking worse by motioning him out there. So the run still will be pretty good, but again, it's just giving your opponent something to think about. Once you start catching on to his tendencies, what he's doing, what he's not doing, that's when you can start making better judgment on it. Now, again, you can also motion Ingram over here and kind of turn it into a single back bunch tight end look. So that's definitely something interesting that you can, kind of create. Now, we're not getting super good blocks. I should have came out in a different formation, which I might actually switch still. We are on this 3-4 odd, which is a very heavy set, which, again, not too many people run this, so I might switch over. But, simple dive here. I actually do want to switch to like a 2-4-5 real quick. Now, we just went ahead and switched to a nickel 2-4-5 just to get a little bit more realistic of what you will see online. The odds of someone really running a 3-4 odd are pretty slim, so I'm not even sure why I chose that to begin with. But as far as some of the other motion I like to do, I like to kind of motion this guy out. Now, you'll see the motion be a little bit more effective when you go ahead and run the stretch. As you see, we would have had a big run there, but again, we have Mark Ingram in there, so of course he's not really going to pick it up. You can also kind of flip your run, which is what we're doing here to get it to hand it off, from that left side, but you're not expecting the dive to be your, barn burner. It's supposed to be just your 4 yards, your short yard situation. Keep him honest to the inside run. You don't want him to play the outside a little bit too much. It's not going to be, 20 yards a carry. It's going to be 5 yards a carry around there. Short yard situation, but it is very, effective. You do have to run the dive to open up things like the stretch. Again, you can motion Ingram out. You can be a little bit more patient if you want, kind of the way we're doing here, which, terrible run sick. But, yeah, man, the dive, it's kind of boring. It's not exciting to talk about, but it's something that you guys have to run to make these types of formations successful, so we have to throw it in. Now, again, the main run is going to be probably the stretch. You also have some things like a halfback zone if you need it. But here we have the stretch, and the stretch is going to be where motion is going to be a little bit more helpful. You see, we're going to motion someone like Deontay Harris out as, I don't know how nobody picked him up, but you're going to motion someone out like Thomas or Harris. You can also, again, motion Mark Ingram over, kind of create this weird bunch look. Now, you can't even motion snap him, but it is something interesting. And now you see the guy that we wanted to get blocked. It does get blocked. But, yeah, you do want to stick to these runs. The reason that these runs could even be more open is because you have a passing threat. But immediately when someone sees I-form, they're probably expecting the run, which is a good thing that you can, keep a balanced attack because you don't want to just be running the ball at their best run defense. You want to be able to adjust based on what they're doing, based on what the defense is giving you. Here you see the stretch on the outside, able to get a pretty dang, open window. But yeah, man, this I would say is probably a little bit better stretch defense. This nickel 2-4-5 just based on looking at the box. So I would probably go dive here. If he's in a 3-3-5 wide, again, you see the middle of the field is probably going to be your open spot. 3-4 odd, that's probably where the stretch is going to be better. Nickel 2-4-5 odd, you could run dive or stretch. But yeah, if I were to run stretch here, probably looking at the box, I'm going to run it to the left side. I have two wide receivers here to block. This guy should get picked up by your O-lineman. And then really your fullback's down to this linebacker, if I'm guessing, unless Thomas goes and blocks him. But running to the right, you really don't have much. And either, the linebacker, this outside corner, or the safety should be able to make a play. So if I were just looking at it, I would probably run it here, as that was disgusting blocking by the offensive line. I don't know how one guy just shedded my double team. But hopefully we'll just ID this guy, see if he actually gets blocked. And that is what, it looks like if your offensive lineman actually does their job. But, yeah, man, the stretch, pretty solid. I like running the stretch. As far as some of the motion goes with the stretch and the wide receivers, you can motion Harris over and run the stretch to the right side. You can kind of motion snap him over here. And then you can be patient, kind of cut it back inside the way we did there. So you really have, a good option with that. Again, you can really use the motion to your advantage. You can do some weird things to confuse your opponent, like motioning a receiver outside and then snapping it and running your stretch the opposite way, which is what we did right there, which can definitely confuse someone. If he sees someone motion out to the left side and then you actually end up running it to the right, his user's likely to look to the left side. Even a split second of hesitation will grant you an advantage, and really, Deontay Harris isn't going to do anything if you're running the stretch to the right anyway, stock. Now, he will do something if you're running this, motion over here, so that can kind of help out. You see how he actually ends up picking up like a defensive lineman there. It opens up Ryan Ramczyk to actually kind of run upfield and pick up a linebacker on the second level. So you see he's actually making a big difference with that motion. But yeah, man, that's going to do for our runs. Let's go ahead, hop into these passing plays now. And starting out with this PA spot. PA tight end corner is my favorite play, so I'll save it for last. But PA spot, it's definitely solid. Just for starters, we're going to run a setup like this, a little slant, a little flat. We are going to use the backfield master ability, but we have a little corner out. We're going to motion him over and kind of turn it into a post route. We have a slant, a flat, and this is just one of the most basic concepts out of I-form that I love to go to. You got to understand that people are going to be playing run defenses, so you're not going to be going against these crazy coverage defenses. For the most part, it's just going to be, basic cover 3, cover 2, 2-man under. They're going to be focusing on stopping the run, and then when you're able to throw the ball, you can really catch them off guard, and even just a basic slant post combo can grant you an easy 20 yards. Again, you want to pass the ball situational. You're not going to be running I-form if you want to pass the football 30 times a game, even 20 times a game. You really want to throw around 15 times a game if you're running I-form. I would say that's probably a good number to kind of shoot for. But 15 times a game, you're going to have a lot, and you see just these easy passes you can throw. A lot of times the user's going to be out of position because he's trying to A, shoot a run gap, or B, just blitz himself off the edge, or just, he's maybe having to blitz extra guys, put himself in like an outside zone to defend. But that's the first setup. The second setup you can run is just kind of the same thing we have. We're just going to run it like this, where we streak X, put Y on a little flat, and then we just snap the ball. That hitch actually runs pretty dang deep, so you can definitely kind of throw that. Weird animation there, but you have a corner out, you have a streak. So it's just one of those combos that's always good in Madden. Corner outs, streaks, you have a flat underneath, you have a backside, tight end route. Now this formation was a little bit better, but the recent patch with these delay fades made it probably a little bit worse. The delay fades, of course, release immediately, so we don't really want to use those too much. If I were to use a delay fade, which they still can work situationally, they're just not as good as you would imagine. You could kind of run a combo like this, where maybe we curl RB, just like so. We delay fade A, but you see the delay fade, it's going to release immediately, and that's where you kind of have a situation where these guys are bumping each other. But you see the corner out does get wide open. This is just a stock nickel normal cover 3 nickel 2-4-5 cover 3 sky. So pretty basic coverage. Of course, we're not adjusting heavy, but you always want some routes in the middle of the field in case there is a double Mabel type of situation. So yeah, that is the PA spot. Another thing you can kind of do is if I wanted, maybe we put Y on a little Texas route, put A on a flat, something like this you could do. You have a flat, little Texas route, little corner out. So just some cool things like that you can maybe, pop off with. Another idea with that kind of same route combo, you could, maybe we drag X. What do I want to do? Probably slant. No, probably drag. Flat A. And then we'll motion Deontay over. You see the majority of the time I'm going with 6-man protections. That's probably the reason we're doing that is because, again, you're expecting probably a little bit more pressure when people are trying to stop the run. More 5-man rushes in comparison to the normal 4-man or 3-man. Probably more blitzing 5 guys, so that's why I'm usually blocking this fullback. And the fullback's going to help out being basically an extra offensive lineman anyways. All right, man, that's going to take us to our last and final play of the mini scheme. That's going to be the PA tight end corner. I like this play a whole lot. And the main reason is going to be nice little deep corner out from Troutman, our tight end. And I love this route by Michael Thomas. It looks kind of odd, but we're just going to run this play stock and take a look at MT run his route. Very shallow. He gets into a very good spot in between zones, and little do you know that route actually beats man coverage as well. So it's going to be the entire package with our boy Michael Thomas right there. Definitely like it a lot, and just those 2 routes going to create some cool route combinations from us. The first one's going to be X on a slant and Y on a flat. We're going to block the running back. Also, something I probably should have mentioned is you do want to have your wide receivers on the wide side of the field. That's usually the case with most offenses, and this one is no different. Motion Deontay Harris across. This one, again, you can kind of run this motion snap if you want. It doesn't really matter, but just a little slant combination. You see Michael Thomas in this scenario where there's no other kind of underneath route. He's actually going to do the work of pulling up the zones. Majority of the time, MT is going to take away the user as well, so a little backside slant will get open. We'll show that setup again, and once again, a situation where we're blocking Mark Ingram. You could leave him on his stock flat route. I would not be mad at you if you were to do that in this play art, so we'll actually show that next play. Again, you can check down Kamara pretty much every play and pick up 5 yards, especially if they're not hard flatting. We haven't thrown to the flats a whole lot. You can definitely do that. The odds of them really being double Mabeling out of a run defense set, pretty slim to none. And with how good the run is, they're going to need some extra help to stop it, but once again, here we'll slant, we'll flat. Here's the setup. Very, very good player. One of the best kind of stock plays you can run in the entire game. Here we're able to hit Troutman on his corner route. Gets pretty good open. I don't know why I said pretty good open. He gets pretty open there. But, yeah, man, this play kind of has it all. As far as some of the other setups that we can run, we can just run a kind of a stock setup with this, like Kamara on his little flat. We could put him on like a wheel route if we need. I like this little flat or this kind of an out route a little bit more. Here you see Thomas again on his low ball. Weird swerve catch by me, but you see the separation that he generates. A lot of separation. As far as some of the other things you might want to do, you can... how would the Texas route look? Texas route probably not the best thing, I would say. You can put him on this little ghost route that I actually like a lot. Those kind of do well against double Mabel type setups. So if we were to put a little X, let's go X on a streak. Something like this would not be the worst. You have a little slant, you have a little ghost route that's going to sit there, and you see he's just going to be a little check down for you, and he's going to be wide open. So that's one of the main reasons I like the backfield master ability, is just because of that ghost route that actually sits very well and gets pretty open. So I am a big fan of that. If we want to go with the route of motioning Ingram out, we can throw him on maybe a little streak, and then we can actually keep the play action. So if you want to use play action, which we haven't done a whole lot, both plays were play action, we could do something like that and hit Deontay in the flats. Which play action is a good concept, especially out of this. Now, if we were to run this play stock, you could do it, but I might put Ingram on a little backside out, something like this, but just run the play action. You can hit Ingram if you need out there. But yeah, play action's good. It's going to hesitate the user for a split second. I know some people think it's, loserish to run play action. It's not. It's pretty good. I like doing play action when I'm running under center stats myself, but that's pretty much going to do it for the video, man. If you enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out.